Hey everybody, so I'm gonna do a little question and answer for PCA and CNA life that I've gotten. I've gotten some new subscribers, so thank you guys all for who's followed me. And I've gotten questions because I am in pediatrics specifically. I work in, I guess I can't say what unit I work in, but I work with pediatrics, and I've had a lot of questions about pediatrics, specifically people that are going and getting their PCA/CNA license and stuff like that. So I just wanted to do a little video, especially since I have new subscribers, and it kind of gives a better background on my experience and my thoughts and everything with healthcare and being a PCA and being a nursing student. I always feel like I have to clarify that a PCA is a CNA because I swear everybody except for the hospitals in Ohio call them CNAs instead of PCAs. I don't know. So I am a CNA/PCA. We all do the same thing, just in different settings. So some of the questions that I've gotten multiple times. And then I've also, just because of working in pediatrics, if anybody has any interest in pediatrics and wants to go into an interview, yes, every hospital and every nursing home, it's all hard, and the interviews are hard and you do have to impress the managers. But for some reason, at least in the hospital that I work in, they are super, super picky, even when they're as short-staffed as we are. So I've even referred some friends and they have good experience, and never got hired on. So I do kind of want to go over some, if you are applying, some interview questions that maybe set me up for success and able to get the job versus some others. Because I will say, working in pediatrics, they like to have nursing students. I am going to nursing school, but I'm in prereqs. I'm not actually a nursing student. And a lot of times they like second-year nursing students versus just like CNAs who like get it through a little extra class. I don't know for sure, but that's kind of what I've seen. So if you really want to set yourself up for success in a pediatric interview, watch this. If you have any, questions, if you're going into being a PCA or CNA or nursing school, any of that I feel like this would be a good video to watch. So, I used to work in the adult world before I worked in pediatrics. So one of the questions I get all the time is, what made me decide to go into pediatrics versus being with kids? Or being with adults. Can't speak. So one of the things is for me, all my entire life, I always wanted to be a pediatric oncology nurse. I wanted to work with kids with cancer. I'd see the little videos on TV of the commercials of like raising money for like St. Jude and stuff like that. And it got to me just emotional and something I felt very, very passionate about. Well, I actually applied to the same hospital I work at now whenever I first got my STNA license in Ohio. Never got a call. However, I did get a call from a oncology med-surg unit in the adult world. So I was like, you know what, that's close enough. My ex-boyfriend, his dad actually, whenever he had cancer, was on this unit. So I actually spent some time on this unit. So I was like, you know what, this hits close to home. So I ended up taking that position. I will say one thing about the adult world, at least at the hospital I was in, is the PCAs did not have cap outs. This was one of the biggest things. This is one of the reasons I left, is I would walk on and be assigned to all 44 rooms. So, if you've worked in the adult world in anything like the one I worked in, that means like 25 of them were blood sugars. Every single one of them were bed alarms, because every single one of them were fall risk unless they signed a waiver. And I would have to put my Volt phone, which is like my little phone that the HUC would text you on. I'd have to put my number on the board so that they could call me if they don't feel like calling the HUC. So I just want to say that as a human, we're not Superman. We literally cannot take care of 44 patients in a day, because out of those 44, maybe 5 of them were chill enough to be able to go to the bathroom alone, and which it's none of the patient's fault. We just were not staffed. I started during, I think it was June of 2020. So right after the pandemic started, my hospital right before I started was on a pause. They weren't hiring people. So the staffing was just terrible. So I actually left healthcare for a little bit, came back. One of my best friends, she's actually the maid of honor in my wedding, she is a nurse at the hospital I work at. And she said, it's not like that at all. And, you have your patient cap outs. You have maybe 10 to 12 patients a day. And I'm like, 10 to 12? Like, That's crazy to me. So that was one thing that caught my eye. And also, again, I had always wanted to work with kids growing up. And I don't mean this in a bad way, but I think for everybody, like there's even people who are like, I can never work with kids. Like they're just whiny, they're annoying, blah, blah, blah. I don't feel that way about adults. However, I just feel like I maybe am more passionate and have more sympathy for kids. I don't know, just something about it. I just feel like I care more, which it may sound bad, but like I just think that that's like something that all of us could feel, is that there's some areas that you would care about more than others. Kids, I really truly believe that, you know, helping kids and helping shape them and get them better so they can live a long life, there's just something to that just like, I don't know, it just gets me going, gets my heart going. I literally love my job. I've been here for almost 5 months, coming up on my 6th month soon, which is crazy. And I love it. Like nothing about it. Well, okay, there's things about it I don't like. That's normal. But there's nothing about it that makes me think that I would ever want to leave. So at this point, when I worked in the adult world, I was done. I was burnt out like 6 months in. So that's really fast to get burnt out from a job. So that just wasn't for me. But there are a lot of people that are just like, work with adults, work with the elderly, work in nursing homes. That's what they're more passionate about. Those are the people they have more sympathy for. So I really think that, getting a call, that everybody has their thing, and I think pediatrics is mine. So if anybody is looking to get into pediatrics, there are a couple things, because people have asked what the difference is. There's not much. I will say I'm not allowed to do as many skills in pediatric as I was whenever I worked in the adult world. I was allowed to do like, I was allowed to do catheters. I was allowed to take out IVs. I was allowed to do stuff like that. Absolutely not in the hospital I work at now. But I would say the biggest difference, and I don't know if this is normal for other adult hospitals, but at my hospital, never in a million years would they ever make me do this. I'm a sitter a lot. So that means that, let's just say there's a 4-year-old who is they're just not there. They're kids. They don't understand. They have an NG tube in. They're constantly trying to pull it out. It's really important that they don't pull it out. Or say we have a psych patient who has recently tried to commit suicide and they're in our hospital until they're medically cleared to be able to go to our campus for the help that they need. We would sit in there for that. We have a lot of patients with specific things to the unit I'm on where we have to sit in there to basically monitor the things that they are hooked up to be able to alert the nurse as soon as like the fluid gets to a certain point, as soon as something. I'm trying not to give away too much about exactly where I work. But more of the story is I would say I sit more than I don't. So that was a really big shock to me because working in the adult world, never in a million years would I ever sit. So it was definitely weird. So if you're gonna work in pediatrics, I am 95% sure it's common all over the world that you are going to have to sit. Before COVID, it wasn't as common, I hear, because they had our float pool team were sitters. They never were on the floor. The floor PCAs were floor PCAs. There were people that were hired to do dual roles. And then we had our float pool that did the sitting. But just like everywhere else in the world, we're more short-staffed now. And personally, I think that, I don't know, I just think that there's more reasons now for sitters. I don't really understand why. So like my unit, sometimes we'll have 3 rooms that need sitters. We've gotten up to, I think the highest since I've been there is 13. 13, that means 13 PCAs got to sit. Do you think that we have 13 PCAs ever scheduled? No. So we're sitting all the time. We're getting float pool put in there. We're getting people from other units put in there. One of my unit is actually one of the units that has sitters the most. So I would say that's honestly the biggest difference. And it can be hard because I work night shift. However, again, I would take doing that a million times over and over and over again than not being able to take care of 44 patients. At least I know I have one patient. That's good. They're taken care of. They're in my hands. If they need to use the bathroom, they're using the bathroom. If they need their diaper changed, if they need something to eat, if they need something to drink, if they need vitals done, anything, it is taken care of by me. So I leave not feeling like I didn't take good care of people. And that is the biggest thing for me, is I want to take good care of people. That is our job. If you don't feel that way, you shouldn't be in healthcare. So that's just my opinion there. But again, pediatrics isn't for everybody. There's some people that are like, kids are annoying, they're whiny. Honestly, I don't agree with that. I think that honestly, adults are more whiny than kids. Like, kids want to be independent. Parents want to be there. They want to help change diapers. If they're there, 9 times out of 10, the parents are changing the diapers because they feel so helpless. Like, their kid is so sick. What can they do? They can change a diaper. Let them change the diaper. So I would definitely say that's probably the biggest difference. And it's something that I truly enjoy. And if anybody is interested in pediatrics and has more questions for me, just let me know. There's so many details I could go into about it. My specific area that I'm in, I literally love. I don't know for sure if I'm going to stay. I think at my year mark, I may start shadowing, because my hospital is amazing and allows you to shadow other nurses and PCAs and stuff like that. So I think that I am going to go down to our ICUs, our CICU and our PICU, and then our oncology unit. I'm going to go to those 3, and we'll see. We'll see if I end up leaving. So, but I've grown a great relationship with all the people on my unit. But I'm on night shift, and I don't know that I want to stay on night shift forever. I love it. Honestly, I do. But I think it's more of that I love the people on the night shift than I love night shift. So I do love that, like, so at my last hospital, I used to have to work every 3rd weekend, but here you're required in a 6-week schedule to work 48 weekend hours. So I typically just work Sunday nights. I've never worked Saturdays. Look at this. Are you serious? Sorry. I never work Saturdays, which is really nice. So like, I go in on Sundays after everything's calmed down a couple times a week, or a couple times a month. I'll go in on Sunday, and that's it. So I do have Friday requirements. I have to work 2 Fridays every 6 weeks, 2 Mondays every 6 weeks, but that was also the same thing in my last hospital. So I don't feel like I miss out as much on the weekends. However, I did just get a second job, off topic. I'm going to be a little beverage cart girl at a golf course down the street, because we all know we don't make good money as PCAs. So I'm going to get me some tips at this little golf course. So maybe we should cover it up. I don't know. But when it comes to, if anybody's interested in having interviews, this is one of my biggest tips. So do research before you have interviews. I do every single time. I watch videos of example questions, things that I can expect out of an interview, and I write them down. It is so easy to get choked up or say something stupid during an interview. So for me, I had a big old binder with just thoughts, like things that I have thought about, like, why do I want to be in this position? You're going to get asked that question. What made you want to work here? That is just a very common question. Well, I wanted to work with kids my whole life. Kids are so cute. No, don't use that, because that's not a good reason. So for me, and this is something that I've truly always felt and believed, was that I want to work with kids, because I believe that a child's life, the child part of your life, is the most essential part of someone's life. That is where you grow. That is where you learn. That is where people influence you the most. So every nurse, every PCA, every sibling, every aunt, every uncle influences you. The smallest things that you could say to them will influence them and will stick to them with them for the rest of their life. So for me, I'm extremely positive with the kids. I like to, even if it's outside of, just their health situations, like I sit again with a lot of suicide patients, sitting in there and talking to them about life, like being able to do that and like understand that there are better days. That's just something, being a part of that part of someone's life means a lot to me. Because there's a lot of times, working with somebody that's 40 years old, like, what am I going to do? Give them advice? I'm 23 years old. I'm not going to really be able to give them a lot of advice. So for me, I like to be able to be an influence. That comes with me being the oldest of 6. That's just me my whole life. I've always taken care of kids. On my mom's side of the family, I'm the oldest cousin. On my dad's, I'm the second oldest. So all the young ones, advice, it's always been something I've been very passionate about. I love being an older sister, love being an older cousin. So that is just one of the reasons why I wanted to be a nurse. That's what they love to hear. I really truly think, because I did a Zoom call for my interview, that sold them, because they were like, oh, like, It's not that typical, I love kids. Well, okay. So I just really encourage people to sit down and think about what they're going to say. Really think about why they want to be in that area. And if you can't come up with something, you probably don't want to do it that bad. So think about other things. So that's just my personal opinion on that. And then another question I get a lot is, how do I like day shift versus night shift? In the adult world, I work day shift. Here in pediatrics, I work night shift. So I, again, really like I really do like night shift. If I was a nurse, I think I would like night shift more because I'd be able to be up and moving. But as a PCA, we sit in the dark, like I was already talking about. There's a lot of nights where I'll sit in the dark room, and it's really hard to stay awake. So it's not even that really bothers me, because I do get to get homework and stuff done if the kid is appropriate enough, or if there's parents in the room and there's not certain things where like they're grabbing at 24/7. There's a lot of nights where I'm able to do homework while they're sleeping. So that's really nice. However, if I don't have any homework, or there's nights where just like my brain could not even handle doing homework while I'm being in there. You're fighting to stay awake. So, that's definitely the hard part of night shift. But I think that when I am a nurse, I will probably want to start off on night shift, just because, so I'm somebody who loves fast pace. I miss day shift because go. That's me, 24/7. I just like to be on the go and like to be talking all day and doing stuff. So day shift truly probably fits my personality the best. However, whenever I become a nurse, it is a bit slower. There's more resources. There's more nurses that are able to help if you have questions, or if you're doing something like an enema. I don't know why I have to use that as an example, but say it's the first time you're doing something, you have people that are available to help. And also, one thing about working in pediatrics versus the adult world is, whenever I worked in the adult world, I would always have one charge nurse that would have at least 4 patients, most of the time 5. Here we have a charge nurse with no patients, and sometimes even a second charge nurse, as well as a resource nurse. So we always have at least one charge nurse and a resource nurse. And so you always have somebody to help you. So with pediatrics and night shift, I do think that I will probably stick it out for a little while. Maybe my last year of nursing school, go to day shift, but I think when I apply for nursing jobs, I will probably do night shift for the first year or 2, just so I can learn my specialty and feel confident and comfortable before I move to day shift, where things are go, and you really don't have an extra set of hands. So those are the couple questions that I get a lot. So I don't have like a whole bunch of followers or anything like that, so I don't have a crap ton to go over. But if anybody watches this and has more questions about pediatrics or life or anything like that, go ahead and leave them down in the comments below. Or you can message me on Instagram, or I don't think you can message me on YouTube. If you can, I've never read a message on YouTube. But if anybody has any questions, just let me know. I'm hoping to start making more content. It's really hard, since I do sit in a room, to do day in the lives, because there's not much I can show you. And even if I wasn't sitting in the room, there's not a lot I can show you because HIPAA, and I don't want to lose my job because I'm recording on the clock. So, but I can kind of show like what my life is like before work, after work, what I do to prepare, especially for night shift. So if you guys are interested, just leave some comments down below, give me a like, and give me a subscribe. Thank you guys.